Breaking news in the Bronx. This is Bronx Fan Central.
While everyone waits for the announcement of a blockbuster ace, the Yankees may already be comfortable knowing the answer is sitting right inside their clubhouse, and that changes everything. Do you believe a healthy rotation can carry the Bronx all the way to the World Series, or do you think Brian Cashman needs to bring in reinforcements at any cost? An analysis published this week by Chris Landers of Fansided presented a straightforward argument. Acquiring Tarik Skubal would make very little sense for the Yankees. The Detroit Tigers star is one of the best pitchers in baseball and a leading candidate for the American League Cy Young Award. But the Bronx already has what could be the strongest rotation in Major League Baseball. Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Will Warren, and Ryan Weathers form a group that leaves little room for another ace. According to the report, New York has limited prospect capital available and would likely have to part with players such as George Lombard Jr. or Carlos LaGrange to land Skubal. Detroit would demand that level of return. But the most important point is this. The Yankees are fully confident that Max Fried will return from his bone injury on schedule. Once that happens, New York could have more starting pitchers than available rotation spots. That is a luxury very few teams possess, and some do not even realize they have it. The Bronx currently sits in a privileged position in the American League. The best record. A rotation with elite upside when healthy. And the analysis makes one thing crystal clear. Tarik Skubal is not the priority. That is music to my ears, Bronx Nation. Cashman forcing a move where one is not needed is exactly what fans should fear. Trading away the future for an all-star in an area where the team is already strong is a recipe for disaster. What I see here is an organization finally playing chess instead of reacting out of desperation. Here is the part that really matters. The Yankees know they are not going to lose this championship because of a lack of starting pitching. The entire league knows it. The real weaknesses are elsewhere. The team needs a right-handed hitting catcher with impact offense. The bullpen needs help. That is the reality fans see every night, especially in the late innings when games get tight. Tarik Skubal would not solve those problems in September, but a reliable catcher and 2 or 3 trustworthy bullpen arms. That could save an entire season. What this analysis makes clear is something that has been floating around behind the scenes for weeks. Cashman is looking at the trade deadline with priorities that are completely different from what internet speculation suggests. While rumor sites place Skubal on the radar of every contender imaginable, the Yankees' internal reality is different. Detroit wants elite prospects. New York cannot afford to spend its gold on a position where it already has abundance. It is simple math, pure logic, and it is exactly the kind of limitation that forces smart decisions. When you cannot do everything, you have to do what is right. If you look at the recent history of trades involving positions of strength, the picture becomes even clearer. The Yankees should never make the kind of move that costs a prospect like George Lombard Jr. to solve a problem that is not actually a problem. When you have Fried, Schlittler, Cole, and Rodon, you already have the foundation of a legitimate contender. The belief that you always need more is the same mindset that has burned organizations in the past. The rotation is healthy or close to it. Warren represents the future. Weathers has become a dependable piece. This is not hunger. This is greed. And greed in baseball can derail championship aspirations. The teams that win titles are the ones that recognize when they already have enough and invest in what they truly lack. The Yankees, in 2026, have a rare opportunity to do exactly that. Here is what bothers me about this entire conversation. Some people argue that Cashman should pursue Skubal, should acquire more pitching, should be as aggressive as possible. But reckless aggression is not leadership, it is desperation. And do you know the danger? The market is moving. Houston is making moves. The Dodgers are watching everything. The Bronx can easily feel that pressure, that fear of being left behind. That temptation has destroyed trades for years. Urgency creates mistakes. So when I see an analysis that pours cold water on that anxiety and says, what you have is enough, what you need is something else, I feel relieved. Because it means at least some of the people making decisions in the Bronx are thinking clearly. They understand that championship number 28 will not be won because of Tarik Skubal. It will be won because of a functional bullpen and a lineup capable of delivering in September. If you enjoy keeping up with Yankees news, make sure to leave a like on the video, because this type of analysis is pure gold. These are the discussions that help us understand what really matters when the pressure starts rising. So what does all of this mean? If New York truly stays on this path prioritizing catcher and bullpen upgrades, you could see a completely different team by September. Better defense, more confidence in close games, less panic when the score tightens late. The rotation remains the anchor, but it becomes an anchor that can rest knowing the rest of the ship is ready for the storm. Jarrett Cole will not have to carry the entire burden in the biggest moments. Max Fried can return fresh. Will Warren can continue developing without the pressure of being a savior. That is what a complete team looks like. And that is how you get where you want to go. Tarik Skubal is an incredible player, but the Yankees may have just done something even more important than chasing another superstar. They recognize their own strengths. That is wisdom, Bronx Nation. And wisdom is what wins championships. Do you think the Yankees will stay focused on their other needs? Or will the temptation of adding another ace eventually win out? Let me know in the comments.